whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today. But if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace. If you are tuning in, you are tuned in to the hottest live stream on Thursday nights. It is Random Topic Thursdays with Gavin Reshaw, only on Gavin Reshaw Presents. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you are blessed and doing safe. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Periscope. If you are subscribed to the channel, thank you for tuning in. Thank you as well, because you are one of the many thousand that have made my show a success. We want to thank our 1,000 plus subscribers that have made this channel a success. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. More things, big things happening, little things snapping. We're going to have, this channel is only going to get better and better as it grows. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot going on. We have, of course, I'm joined by none other than the author extraordinaire, Shawn James, author of The Man Crisis, as well as, Shawn, you might want to bring your camera down a little bit. There we go. Author of The Man Crisis, as well as the John Haynes series. And you can check out his books on Amazon.com. We'll be talking a host of things, including, not limited to, Simone Biles bowing out of the Olympics. Biden declares federal employers should engage in certain mandates. We'll also be talking about a whole bunch of things and look more, including Little Nas X. I also want to talk about this police beating out in Aurora, Colorado that happened sometime earlier this week. Don, how are you doing?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing great. All this and more, ladies and gentlemen. If you like to advertise on the channel, hit that email, gavin.grich1@gmail.com. Also, if you like to do the Patreon, you see the ticker at the bottom, patreon.com/gboot2786. Please, if you can, guys, because we have been taking some hits, I'd like for you to donate to the channel directly. You see the Cash App where my name is, as well as the emails right there. And also, if you would like to check out my single, we have more singles to come, got to get on up, available on Apple, iTunes, and Spotify. I would play my song, but I know the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have to keep writing over and over again a copyright of full notice, a copyright. I'll be hit with a copyright strike, and I have to go back and forth with YouTube about the song and that I own it. And I've done so like dozens of times. But then again, I know you all like to hear the song. So because I love y'all, I'll go through this again. So let us tune in and tune out.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat. Because on the dance floor is where we're Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the river takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, start to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on Earth, Wind, and Fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, start to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you're achieving. So if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, start to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up, baby. Yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up, baby. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up.
What's up, everybody? Gotta get on up. Welcome again to another edition of Gavin Richard Presents, the hottest live stream on YouTube, on the internet. Well, not just YouTube, because we are on Periscope as well. We've been on Facebook for a while. I'm not doing Facebook tonight because it seems like most of my traffic is coming here through YouTube. So you guys just gotta come through YouTube or come through Periscope if you want to check out the show tonight. And of course, we have on our brother Shawn James. I'm bringing Shawn in. Shawn is doing well. Shawn, how's the book sales been coming?
It's a little slow this month. I'm trying to rally to get them to move a little bit more ahead, but that's something I need to do. I'm just trying to because it's been a slow month, but I'm trying to rally to get the sales back up to that record number.
Yeah. All right, you're still doing the. You're looking to still. I know you did some videos, but like working for like DC Comics or Marvel or anything like that.
I put in a resume at Marvel for editorial position, and I'm still out here looking to do work in comics, and I'm also working on my own first comic right now. Trying to get stuff moving with that. Just talked to an artist, and I'm gonna try to see if we can get this book off the ground. The John Haynes at Death's Door. So that's what I'm trying to do this August. I'm hoping to get John Haynes at Death's Door, start getting some pages made, so I can eventually get the comic out by either the end of this year or next year.
All right, cool. Well, I look forward to that, and I certainly will buy the first copy you have.
All
So
right.
to support you, yeah,
I thank
y'all.
you.
Yeah, y'all be sure to subscribe to Sean's channel and help him out to donate to his Cash App as well. I think I have it here because oh wait, thought I did. Well, buy his books too. That's even a better way to help him out. If you buy Revenge of the Cyber Goddess and John Haynes Taking Care of Business, those are his latest books that he has out available. We got a few people in the chat, the regulars. We got Queen Conscious. What's up, dear? Hello, how are you? Derek Bailey, I see you. One Who Cares. Computer Robots, he's always here whenever we have a show. Whenever I go live, I see his name there. I'm sure we'll have some more people coming in. So let's get started, Sean. Of course, one of the big news that happened earlier this week, Simone Biles, the Olympic great, who is bowing out of Olympic competition, citing mental, I guess, a mental issue, not right there in the head. Um, I'm trying to put it in a nice way as I can. But Simone Biles jumped out. Of course, she is, I think, the all-time winning uh, medalist, gold medalist in Olympics, women's gymnastics. And earlier, she competes in the all. She bowed out of the uh, Olympics, the all around, as well as singles competition. Before that, it was singles, then all around, and she's not participating. And we saw this earlier today. Someone had been sent this to me, and I noticed this. They called it Simone Biles and the Wussification of America. This is an article by the Washington Times, and she stated that I was second guessing myself and thought best to let the girls do it, and they stepped up to the plate. It should be noted that her teammate, uh, Sunisha Lee, actually competed and won gold in the women's all around. So, Sean, what did you think about all of this?
Well, I think what happened to Simone Biles was she suffered from a bruised ego. And the reason why I say she suffered from a bruised ego is because she was known to be the greatest gymnast in the world. She came out with a lot of hype and hubris. I mean, she literally had a goat. She had a goat um, in rhinestones on her leotard to say that she was the greatest of all time.
She did.
And when she came out to compete in the Olympics, she was expecting more of herself than other people were. And once she made that mistake in that first event, that's when her ego got that bruise and she started to fall apart. So, yes, there was a mental issue, but it wasn't like, oh, this was damaging to her mental health. This was she was at a bruise to her ego as related to being embarrassed about making a mistake after years of perfect performances. And the big problem with her as related to this situation was she was never taught the life skill, as people like myself growing up knew that you got to dust yourself off and try again. I mean, yes, it's embarrassing to make a mistake when people expect so much of you, but the whole thing is sometimes you just have to just blow it off or laugh it off and go out here and continue to persevere. Now, I myself am a guy who has high expectations of himself and expects high standards. And sometimes I go out here, like when I was in junior high school and elementary school, I used to make a lot of mistakes and have a lot of embarrassing situations. And it would make me want to give up. But then after a while, I said I would just have to just hang in there and persevere. And that's how you get somewhere. And this whole situation with Simone Biles shows how she has a real serious issue as related to understanding about having resolve as related to character. Yes, you made a mistake, but the bigger mistake is just quitting in the middle. And when she quit in the middle, it just showed that she did not have that mental toughness. Again, she says, oh, it's a mental health issue, but it's really a mental toughness issue. And when you're on a team, you also have to look out for your teammates. And what she did was the equivalent of what LeBron James does all the time when his team is losing. Whenever his team loses, he will just like this year, he walked out on his team. And he did this before with other teams. When the team was losing, he would decide to leave the team instead of standing by the team, learning from his mistakes, and growing as an athlete. And this is what's
Well,
happening with Simone Biles is she is the same type of thing. She just does not have that understanding that yeah, failure is going to come in life, mistakes are going to come in life, and it's how you handle those mistakes that really show your character. And that's something I learned over the years as related to bad reviews I've gotten on books
yeah.
or people
Well,
making personal attacks on my books, and I just had to learn how to hang in there and just keep persevering. And sadly, it doesn't look like Simone Biles got that lesson as related to character
well, I
overall.
well, I have to say, in fairness, though, she's won more medals, I think, than anybody. She did not have anything to prove, although if she had mental issues beforehand, if she knew there was an issue, then I would have, and I'm hoping that there wasn't. I would have rather her just say I'm not competing months beforehand than going to the Olympics just to not compete uh, in it. But I have to say, in fairness, she has had to put up with a lot of crap, especially from the judges, because it's my understanding, for instance, they've been judging her, as good as she is, especially the moves that she's performed. They've actually penalized her for doing certain things that were great. Now, in her latest competition, the last thing she did was the vault competition. They said that she didn't do well. Obviously, she didn't, and she didn't stick her landing. That was one thing. She also didn't do her certain twists that she was supposed to do, and she just walked out like that. It wasn't a good look. Now, if she were a man doing it, I could say you this much: I think that she would have caught a lot of hell,
Yeah,
more hell than if it were a man doing it. He would catch more hell. It's just like when Roberto Duran quit on Sugar Ray in the Sugar Ray Leonard fight, their second fight. Duran quit in the eighth round, just gave up, signing, that's the Nomas fight, signing stomach issues. And that actually happened right here in my hometown of New Orleans at the Superdome. And Roberto Duran never truly recovered. Although he won the middleweight title 3 years later, that fight sticks with him for the rest of his life, for the rest of his career. People will remember that. I don't know if it will be the same with Simone Biles, but do you think there's still a racial element in the Olympics? Because I saw an article about a gymnast who talked about how I'm trying to find an article, but they even have to deal with separate quarters and so forth. Do you think that also plays a factor in her? Like, because we don't know, honestly. What if, just playing devil's advocate? What if she was told to quit?
well, there might be a racial issue as related to the judges. I mean, we don't know, but the whole thing is that yeah, a lot of these judges could be harsh on her because she's the best in the world. They might be a little. Some of these people might be upset about that, but at the end of the day, the decision for her to quit had to do with her. And if she didn't feel like she was in the right space and she was having all these issues, then she shouldn't have competed. As I see it, if you're not ready to compete, then don't go out there. And it seems like from one report I've heard that she was having, some people have speculated she might be having issues with her boyfriend. And if your head is not in the right space, then maybe she shouldn't have gone out here to this Olympics. I mean, if she says she did everything she wanted to do, then clearly you're not ready for competition and you have no real incentive to do competition because you've already got gold medals, then what's the purpose of being there? So it's clear to me that this was a major, again, blow to her ego. And that was one of the core reasons I believe that she was having such serious issues. Yes, these judges might be a little harsher on her because she is so excellent, but at the end of the day, it was her decision, and that was the problem was she just I guess she didn't want them to go out here and tarnish her record with a silver medal or even a bronze, so she just decided to walk away so that she could go out here and still be the best in the world.
Yeah, Queen Conscious, she disagrees. She says we don't know what kind of things this young lady is going through. There's more to life than competing in the Olympics. Uh, well, yes, there is, but remember too, and I have to say this, even on a racial aspect, Jesse Owens was winning gold medals in Berlin, Germany in the 1930s when Hitler was in power. Uh, I'm pretty sure he encountered, he had out front discrimination and racism he had to deal with. Um, countless others. Muhammad Ali, I know when he won his gold medal, I believe it was the 1960 Olympics, when he came back home and wasn't allowed to sit in the counter, he took the gold medal and threw it in the river. Uh, a lot of things that were going on in the Olympics, and they've been doing a lot of slick stuff over in Tokyo. That's Dominic Dawes. They're talking about Simone Biles. I don't want to get a copyright strike, but let's see if we can play. This is courtesy of NBC Washington. This is fair use. I remember Dominic Dawes.
You can talk about some of the intangibles as a former Olympian, former gymnast, of the intangibles that she's going through now, not just the physical injuries, but the emotion.
Well, the majority of people out there don't understand the amount of pressure that she's feeling. I felt that in 1996. I knew, as one of the leaders of that gymnastics squad known as the Magnificent Seven, I knew that all of my scores needed to count for Team USA to win. And so I remember before marching out in the Georgia Dome, full of 50,000 people cheering, I had an emotional and mental breakdown. I dropped to my knees with my team captain, Amanda Borden, and we prayed together. And I stood back up and recognized that it's not just about me, and it's not about me doing it alone. So I can imagine the pressure that she's feeling. In addition to that, I've heard that there might have been a little bit of a mental block that she experienced on the vault. I went through that my whole career, and it's very hard to get out of that slump. And then with regards to physical pain, every single one of those athletes out there, elite and Olympic training athletes, they're experiencing some level of pain, and they can learn to push through it, or sometimes they do need to stop, and that might be what she's doing.
And, we talked about Naomi and Osaka, and there is some attention now being paid to the mental state of the athletes. I mean, they've got the country, it's aspirations of a nation resting on their shoulders, but they're still human and they still have their own issues. If this has to happen, is this probably the best time with this awareness now, at least, that we have of that?
I think it's important that people do recognize the mental health implications, the pressure, the physical pain, the sacrifice, the commitment of her whole childhood for this one moment. And this is not how she envisioned that it was going to be. When I fell at the 1996 Olympic Games on the floor, that was not how I envisioned it was going to be. And I went through years and years of many nightmares of that experience. The mental health piece of this is very important. What I do love about Simone, and I know that she'll be okay, she's got her Catholic faith that she speaks and is very vocal about. She's got her mom and dad, that support system. And if you look at her on social media, she's even got a boyfriend and she's got friends of her teammates right there. So she's got a support system around her that I never had. And so I know that she'll work through this, but it will be a tough time for her.
Let me say this to the women that totally disagree and that are supporting Simone. How would you feel if it were a man that quit? I'm curious. I gotta ask Queen Conscious and Pansy Rose Reality. Would y'all say, would your feelings be the same if it were a young man that quit? Like, if they quit like Roberto Duran, if they quit during a track meet? Because I can guarantee you, this is what I know. Anybody, I see people, I see people being harsh on her. It's more positive so far that I've seen in mainstream media. Most of the reaction for her has been positive. I can tell you for sure if it was a man, she would not get that. I just going off what I know from personal experience, because boys are taught to, men, there's a notion in society, even if they have depression, even if they have problems, you go through with it. Doesn't matter. You get tough, you go through it. When adversity strikes, you go through it. I don't care if you're going through, you can point to different aspects. People may say a perfect example would be, and I don't like to use him, he's not a black man, but remember when Brett Favre's father died, and he's playing football the night afterwards and throwing 4 touchdowns, 396 yards. People like to bring that up. And you look at this here, and y'all should see the news. These people, some people are going, she has her detractors. And I'm going to let Shawn speak again. But, man, if you look at, y'all should see this on YouTube right now. Because I just typed this in. Look at the people. She should not be praised for quitting. I got to listen to this later, but O'Shea Duke Jackson, he had something to say. If Simone Biles was a black man, she would have caught hell for quitting the Olympics. Out quick, I'm sure Shapiro has something negative to say to Little Weasel. This guy, he always has something negative to say about black people, and he's black. So just looking at this, yeah, they will have nothing good to say about her. I know it's not going to be good what they say about her.
No, no injury, thankfully, and that's why I took a step back, because I didn't want to do something silly out there and get injured. So I thought it was best if these girls took over and did the rest of the job, which they absolutely did. They're Olympic silver medalists now, and they should be really proud of themselves for how well they did last minute having to go in. And it's been really stressful, this Olympic Games. I think just as a whole, not having an audience, there are a lot of different variables going into it. It's been a long week. It's been a long Olympic process. It's been a long year. So just a lot of different variables. And I think we're just a little bit too stressed out. But we should be out here having fun. And sometimes that's not the case.
I think they told us something. Because
I just felt like it would be a little bit better.
Let me finish the video. Let me finish.
Work on my
her talk.
Mindfulness, and I knew that the girls would do an absolutely great job, and I didn't want to risk the team a medal for kind of my screw ups, because they've worked way too hard for that. So I just decided that those girls need to go in and do the rest of the competition.
The question.
Yeah, we're going to take it a day at a time. I know tomorrow that we have a half day, or at least the morning off. So it'll be a good mental rest, and so we'll take it from there.
Struggling with mental health issues?
Yeah, I say put mental health first, because if you don't, then you're not going to enjoy your sport and you're not going to succeed as much as you want to. So it's okay sometimes to even sit out the big competitions to focus on yourself, because it shows how strong of a competitor and person that you really are, rather than just battle through it.
It was definitely something that was unexpected. We were kind of emotional when we found out that she wasn't going to continue. And, you know, we all just had to put our minds in a great position, because at the end of the day, we were just out there to show what we needed to show. And we went up and did what we did. And I'm just very proud that we were able to do that.
Doing what we needed to do.
Yeah, I'm really proud of everybody for really stepping up. I mean, it's really hard to lose the best in the world.
They're supporting her now.
And we definitely felt a little more stressed. But I'm really proud of how we did, and I think we did amazing. We really fought.
Most of it is positive so far. Although, yeah, if she was a white woman, of course we know the white woman is the most powerful person on earth, because anybody would believe anything she says practically. Doesn't matter. Look what they did with countless black men in this country. And then here's my thing too, just putting on my tinfoil hat. I could be wrong. Sunisi Ali wins the gold medal despite pressure of Biles, and they're celebrating it because she made history, I believe, as the first Hmong American to win a gold medal, if I'm not mistaken, or I could be wrong. She's from St. Paul, Minnesota, her community. They celebrate her. 18 years old. Yeah, she is. She's the first Hmong American to make the Olympic team. And
13.6.
That's her family, her community. So she stepped up. Look at this now. Now look what it says. It says, Lee stepped up after Simone Biles pulled out. Congrats, princess. So beyond proud of you. And she did pretty good. I mean, most of the girls, the women on the Olympics are great.
13.6.
But, I'm just thinking about that. Could that be even a part of it? I don't know if you got a question about that, Shawn.
Well, I don't really know what to say about everything as related to this Simone Biles situation. I mean, it's I know there's a lot of pressure going on with the pandemic and everything, and it's a really testy situation. But again, if she just wasn't ready, she should have just admitted she wasn't ready, because why go out there and then just go out here and quit like that? I mean, I know that there's a lot of pressure going on, a lot of expectations. Again, I've dealt with those kind of situations in my own life as related to being a writer and dealing with the public. I've dealt with those type of situations. And if you're not ready, sometimes you just have to just sit there and say, look, I'm not ready. I'm not going to go out here, because it's better for me to just stay home than to go out here and get in a situation like this and then have to deal with this embarrassment and then wind up not knowing how to navigate through it. And the thing is that she really is, again, very young, so she doesn't know. Well, I was very young and I knew how to navigate through it, but that was my life experience. Maybe hers was a little different. But the whole thing is, when you're out here, it's a lot of pressure that people are putting on you, and then you're putting pressure on yourself, and it can get to you. I know it can get to you, because I've been there myself with a lot of books that I've written. I would wonder, how is the audience going to take it? How is the audience going to receive it? And sometimes I had to go out here and let God go on with it. I said, I have to let this go and go on. And that's how I deal with things. I would just leave it over to God and just move on and move to the next project. But I don't know. It looks like to me, again, Simone Biles took a real hit to the ego with that first judging.
Yeah.
And that's when she really just crumbled, because she just was expecting to do so well out of the gate. And that's one of the things I learned not to do, is put so much expectations on myself. I used to do that, but you got to learn how to not put so many expectations on yourself, because sometimes we expect more of ourselves than other people. And that's the thing that winds up psyching us out and has us second guessing ourselves.
And this is the article I was talking about. This was Brazilian gymnast Leon dos Santos, who won 16 medals in her career. And she talked about how on the national team, they didn't want to use the same bathroom as me. If y'all know, especially out there in South America, they are notorious for racial discrimination against descendants of African slaves. Yeah, no doubt about that. I think that kids have to learn, especially young people, that you're going to go through life. You're going to have challenges, and you have to learn to push through with it. And, I think of yes, there have been countless examples of people who I'm sure faced even enormous amounts of pressure. I can think of how Jesse Owens felt in Nazi Germany. I can think of what with those two men, Tommy Smith and Carlos, just passed away. But the two men at the 1968 Olympics were thinking when they raised their fist up in Black Power. All of those things that were going on at that time. And Olympics have a lot of racial animosity. And to be honest, why should any Black person want to represent a country that doesn't care about us? Well, here's the thing, Queen Conscious. We built this country regardless. This is still our country. And those athletes that compete, that's a way that they make a living. Although you don't really make a living from being an Olympian. The most amount of money I've read that you can win might be about $37,000 for getting a gold medal, but it's not employment. You know, you make your money from what, Shawn? Endorsements.
Yeah.
You get endorsements. You end up like Michael Phelps, who I think Phelps has made it. Basically, he's made a career out of being an Olympian. Hell, look at the Jenner guy. Although he's married up with the Kardashians, so you could say that helped him out. But people make careers out of that, so that's another reason why they do it. You never know where that may lead. She may go on to be a sportscaster. They may go on, be in movies or whatever. I remember, I think was it Mary Lou Retton and so forth. She wasn't in any movies or anything like that, but I mean, she did a lot of commercials. This is what they do. I remember Carrie Strug when she broke her ankle and they forced her to perform because they needed her to finish the vault in order for them to win gold. That was at the '96 Olympics. So I remember stuff like that. But it is what it is at the end of the day. The Olympics actually, here's another point too, Shawn. The Olympics actually have been the lowest watched Olympics in 30 plus years. Did you know that?
Yeah, I know that. I've seen the ratings.
The ratings have plummeted.
They don't really care about the Olympics because people are thinking about things like their job, the possibility of them being evicted because we have the eviction moratoriums getting ready to end in a few days. So a lot of people have stuff on their plate right now, and the last thing they're thinking about is some athlete in a competition because they have so much stress and pressure on their lives that most Americans really they don't have time for this. And people all over the world, they are dealing with everything that's related to this pandemic, and it's changed people's perspective on life. So they don't really care about these kind of competitions anymore because they have so much more that they have to deal with in their life.
You know what I've heard too about the Olympics? You know what goes on? Of course, the pandemic has changed things, but that's basically, I've heard, especially at Olympic Village, that's basically a meet and greet for you know what.
Yeah, but they made the cardboard bed so nobody could get busy, so they just killed everything over there.
Yeah. That's Naomi Osaka, I believe. And look how they treated her too when she lost. The Japanese, Nicole and I were talking about this. The Japanese press was horrible.
Yeah.
About her heritage and everything.
Well, the press has been downright nasty these days. I mean, I have seen people not having any sort of journalistic integrity or journalistic standards, and they have been acting like tabloids, just interjecting opinion and attacking people and getting personal. And that's why people like Naomi Osaka don't want to bother with the press anymore, because these reporters they're not really reporting. They just attack people, and that turns people not wanting to go out here and do this. I mean, this whole Olympics has been just disjointed, uneven. It has been one of the worst I have seen in my time. Yeah. And I believe really it's due to the pandemic, and it also believe it's due to these really hostile reporters who really do not understand how to treat somebody in a way that really gets journalistic things related to a journalistic standard. They just want to sensationalize things and get some drama going, and they want to do that to sell papers and get clicks, and they're putting that over the needs of many of these athletes, and that's really another thing that possibly could be leading to the issues as related to the pressure.
I can't click on this because they want you to, USA Today wants you basically to buy a subscription, but you look at the headline here, the biggest loser at the Olympics, Japanese racism.
Yeah, we know that it's out there.
Oh, well, listen, we talked about Stop Asian Hate. Yeah. But a lot of Asians have hatred. Not all, but there's a genuine hatred in that culture for Black people. I'll never forget when Floyd Money Mayweather was fighting Manny Pacquiao, and you had this talk about Mayweather being the devil. Basically, you had people calling him what's called the knock knock, which is the Filipino term for nigger, basically a Black person. That's what they mean by that. Those were the type of things that were going on there. But yeah, Naomi, there's a lot of racism over there, and people are not paying attention to it right now. Oh, goodness. I'm just tuning in, Shawn, and I guess we could segue into our next topic, but I'm moving on right now, guys. I have to be careful with my words, but Biden declares federal employers should engage in certain mandates. So you figure out what the mandates are. But Shawn, I just saw you commented on Nicole. Shout out to Nicole if she's watching. But from Stone News, this was have some information. It was reported that I got to be careful that Biden has ordered. He has ordered a mandate 1.5 million members of the military to just look at that. I won't say the word. And Shawn commented saying he just lost a huge voting block. Let's go ahead and play the video, if we can, of the President Biden, of President Biden's speech earlier today. This is coming from NBC News, courtesy of them and courtesy of NBC News. And just for the record, this is also covered under fair
Today,
use.
I'm laying out additional steps we should be taking to deliver these life-saving vaccines to more Americans. First, we're going to provide more incentives to encourage unvaccinated Americans to get vaccinated. That starts with paid leave to get the shot. We're still hearing that people are unable to get time off from their employer to get vaccinated. Well, this is unacceptable. For some time now, I've said you should be able to get the shot and still get paid. Thanks to the American Rescue Plan, the federal government is fully reimbursing any small or medium-sized business that provides workers with paid time off to get vaccinated. Employers, this costs you nothing. If you haven't given employees paid time off, do it now, please. Today, I'm announcing we're taking this a step further. The federal government will now reimburse those employers to give their staffs time off, not only to get themselves vaccinated, but also to get their family members vaccinated. That means employers can get reimbursed if they give parents time off with paid leave to take their kids or their own parents to get vaccinated. So I'm calling on all employees across the country to give paid time off to get the shot or to help a family member do so. I promise you, it will cost you, the employer, nothing. You'll be reimbursed. Secondly, I'm announcing that we'll continue to work with states to encourage unvaccinated people to get vaccinated. In February, the grocery store chain Kroger's offered $100 to their associates if they get vaccinated, and it worked. Vaccination rates moved up from 50% to 75% among their employees.
Look at the likes to dislikes.
States like New Mexico, Ohio, and Colorado are offering similar incentive programs that have helped increase vaccination rates. So today, I'm calling on all states and local governments to use funding they have received, including from the American Rescue Plan, to give $100 to anyone who gets fully vaccinated.
Now, let me say this. Again, I have to be careful with my words because I can have this channel removed. I've had strikes on it. My backup channel for talking about vaccines and so forth. However, I'm playing the video. This video is coming directly from NBC News. So this is public information. So this is not Gavin Richard spreading disinformation or Shawn James spreading medical misinformation or whatever disinformation, misinformation, wisinformation, whatever you want to call it. I'm giving you the straight skinny from what the President of the United States states. So what he is talking about and what's reported now, this comes from the AP, Shawn. Biden orders tough new vaccination rules for federal workers. Now, a mandate, as Donald Washington pointed out, is not a law. A mandate, however, he is the President of the United States, he has full authority over federal agencies like the FAA and the FDA and so forth to make decisions in certain as to certain venues, how employees will handle COVID-19 restrictions, as well as vaccines and/or mask mandates. So, President Joe Biden on Thursday is reported by announced that he's announced sweeping new pandemic requirements aimed at boosting vaccination rates for millions of federal workers and contractors, as he lamented the American tragedy of rising yet preventable deaths among the unvaccinated. He says that federal workers will be required to sign forms attesting, I'm assuming those forms will be under oath, attesting that they've been vaccinated against the coronavirus or else comply with new rules on mandatory masking, weekly testing, distancing, and more. So if you're unvaccinated, and this is the article from the AP, what they're saying essentially is that you're looking at, going under tougher requirements now, or more requirements where you're going to have to be socially distant from other people, mask mandates in different businesses. I think even if you are, but here's the thing, if you are vaccinated, and Fauci as well as the CDC, they have recommended that you may still have to wear masks. This was reported earlier this week. So those are things that I have heard. Again, and I'm being careful with my words. I'm reporting what was the news article. You can go look it up. I've seen it. Somebody wrote in the comment section of the video, they said, if that's the case, there should not be one homeless veteran on the street. Meanwhile, somebody wrote, meanwhile, Delhi, India is considering suing their World Health Organization doctors over suppressing therapeutics. Yeah, I don't think these people are choosing not to vax because people can't get the day off. Someone wrote, just another way to turn Americans against each other. Shawn, what do you think of, I guess, President Biden's new mandates? Are you, take it you're not in favor of them? Oh, Shawn.
Yeah, I had a glitch.
Okay, I see that. Yeah. Well, Shawn, I was just sharing the screen. I was like, what did you think of what the president had to say?
I think he's making a major mistake here, and he really is getting ready to set up for the second of what I call America's Pyrrhic victories. Because in the previous Pyrrhic victory, the left managed to beat Donald Trump, but they just made a mess of the country. And this is going to be another Pyrrhic victory for your Joe Biden, because right now he's getting ready to alienate a large group of voters, and that voting bloc is going to remember this in 2022. And he has to understand he has a slim majority in the House, a slim majority in the Senate, and he's about to put all of that in jeopardy as related to trying to get these numbers up. And the solution is very easy and very simple in front of him. And he just is not really thinking critically. He's running on emotion from Fauci's advice, because Fauci came out and said, we need to mandate things. And your Fauci really does not understand the political consequences of trying to force people to take something that is not approved by the FDA. And he doesn't really understand how the average American is thinking critically about this situation, because many Americans, they remember this whole thalidomide situation in the 50s, which all these people took thalidomide and wound up with their children having birth defects. And many Black people, they remember the Tuskegee.
Be careful, please.
I am being very careful, but these are historical facts. The Tuskegee experiments, and what your Joe Biden really isn't understanding is the big picture as related to things. He's not really understanding that you have to see it from the way other people are seeing it. A lot of people, they're thinking about their future, not about 4 or 5 years from now. And he's not really understanding where these people are going to be, because many of these companies, they are not going to pay for people's medical care, and they're just basically going to leave all these people out here. So you're going out here trying to go out here and try to force people to take this thing, and it's one, not approved by the FDA, and two, people have no recourse if their health is jeopardized. So this is putting the American people's health at risk, and that's the thing that has people hesitant. Now, all of this could easily be solved if the FDA had approved this thing. Can't say what it is, but the FDA is the issue here, and FDA approval would be the thing that would build the trust. And here, what we have here is that you're dividing people. And the great irony is, everybody said Donald Trump was going to divide people, but we have division being sowed by the left as related to things, making people into one group and another. And this is the kind of thing that Donald Trump was alleged to have done. And here we have Biden and many of these leftists like Andrew Cuomo and Bill de Blasio sowing the same seeds of division, creating an us versus them. And it's this us versus them that I believe is going to cause a major rift in the country. And the great irony is that your Joe Biden ran on the whole campaign of bringing America together. And what he's doing is driving the country further apart, because when you're going out here attacking one group of Americans, it does not help your situation. It does not help your situation when you go out here and alienate the group, because you can't sit here and blame that group for their legitimate concerns. Many American people have legitimate concerns about the long term, and nobody's thinking critically about that long term. All Joe Biden is thinking about is, and many of these left politicians are thinking about, are that goal that Joe Biden, I say, unrealistically put at 70%, and his numbers being short, and Republicans using this as ammunition. But the whole thing is, with each person you try to mandate, you make those people, by trying to push these people, you push them to the other side. And those people who were already on the fence, they become more hesitant because you're attacking them, you're blaming them, and you're not listening to their legitimate concerns. And you're just having this tunnel vision where you want to just hear your own ideas without listening to the other side. So I look at Joe Biden, this is a disastrous move as I see it. And he practically put the nail in the coffin in his presidency. And this is like the big mistake, like your Barack Obama did in 2009, when he did not sign the unemployment benefits extension. That was the end of the Obama presidency. And I believe this is the end of the Biden presidency. This is the nail in the coffin for him. And this just gives more ammunition to all of those Trump supporters who believed that he was right. And it also brings others to the side, like your African Americans and minorities, who also now are seeing that they signed a bum deal with Biden. So this is not a good look for him. He's also getting ready to lose all of these unions. He's getting ready to lose the military. He's getting ready to alienate large voting blocks. And he doesn't understand that, yes, short term, you got a little bit of a push, but long term, you're going to lose, and you're going to lose big. So the whole thing is that your Biden didn't understand that sometimes you just have to have a little patience. And he was so emotional about Delta variant and all this other stuff reacting, when in the UK, I'm not going to get into that, but the whole thing is that he got emotional and overreacted instead of responding and letting things take their course, because all of this is coming back to him, because it was his CDC that released that changed all these rules. It was his CDC that keeps flip-flopping. It was his CDC that was inconsistent. And again, he's creating a paper trail that is leading to him putting nails in his coffin and putting an end to the left's whole majority, because now he sowed the seeds of mistrust. And instead of building that bridge and connecting with people to try to reassure them, like saying, oh, FDA approval is coming in 6 months, and we will have retroactive liability. I mean, this is the type of thing that reassures people and gives them more incentive. I mean, people don't want $100. What people want is that indemnity.
Insurance.
Yeah, they want that insurance. They want that trust. And that's what people want. But it seems like it flies over the heads of these politicians who want to just get this number. And it seems like they've got that whole nerd tunnel vision where they're sitting there, I want the number. I want the number.
Pushing division. It's pushing a lot of division because I was telling my father, I said, you know, I'm not encouraging violence, but pretty soon you're going to have, if they keep doing this, they can incite another civil war.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
And
I've seen it. I've seen the highlights of it, and it's looking that way. It's like these leftists, they don't know where the line is and say, look, we need to pull back. We need to back off. You're messing with people's money. You're messing with people's lives. You put people towards the nothing to lose situation. And if you do that, you may wind up with another explosion. And this time you may not be able to contain it. So I see where Biden has, again, fumbled the football on this one. And these leftists have fumbled the football because the whole thing is, if you just go out here, build that trust, get that, say, hey, this FDA approval is coming, that's going to open the door to getting more people on board. Because once people are coerced, they wind up becoming resentful. And once those people become resentful, they become Republican voters.
Yeah. Well, I think it has already been set in stone. Remember something, I don't even know. You got to be careful with this, but I don't know if he really won that. You know, just the stuff that's been going on from all the information that people have said, but I'm not going to go and get into that. Different people think that there was some type of finesse that was pulled because he was not a very popular. I mean, you look at his poll numbers, you look at what he was doing, the amount of crowds that were at his rallies and so forth. You would think how he was able to get more votes than Barack Obama. And I had people telling me, oh, it's possible he could have done that. I was like, yeah, anything's possible. Anything. You can also say George Bush won the election. We know that George Bush won Florida, but we know that he didn't. So, I mean, it happens, but I'm not gonna get into that. But I'm just thinking when I see more and more stuff like this, it's causing divisiveness in this country. And you know, a lot of the people who voted for Joe Biden too, Shawn, have been quiet.
Yeah,
they have been deathly quiet. And I think they realized they got duped.
They got a raw deal.
Yeah.
And they got conned by a con man. Everybody tried to tell them, but they didn't want to listen.
We got to get Trump out. We got to get Trump out. But Trump was not he was not forced. I don't think, and say what you want about Donald Trump, but he was not forcing, mandatory mandates for masks. He was not forcing mandatory vaccines. He was the one that started what was called Operation Warp Speed, that was pushing these companies to come up with a vaccine for COVID-19, and they were approved for what's called federal emergency use. So it's not been approved fully by the FDA, although they claim, and this is true, I know that with emergency use, just from reading what the rules are on it, they do test those. But still, if you don't have the official stamp, many people are going to be like, no, I'm not getting that. And, I'm not going to say too much because I talk about it. They'll say I'm spreading medical misinformation. Yeah. The information is out there. I'm stating what's in public, YouTube. If you're going to you guys are going to try and take down my videos and then not give me the opportunity to challenge it, you're a hypocrite because you guys are following the CDC mandates as well as trying to help them out. But you guys know they've said the same thing. It's public information. I'm repeating what they've said.
Yeah, it's public information, and the public now sees how they flip-flopping. We're seeing that Trump is not the problem. We were told by the mainstream media Trump was the problem. Trump was making mistakes, but now we're seeing it really was not Donald Trump. I mean, this right here, this last week or last 2 weeks has shown us who the real problem is. It's CDC, it's Fauci, it's Biden, it's the left. They really, they're upset because the situation isn't going the way that they want. And now we see who is really making the mess. And the whole thing is, I believe they're creating this mess because they don't want to focus on the real issue of all of this crime that's going on, and the fact that many of these left-leaning cities are practically crumbling under everybody's feet.
Yeah. Well, regards to the military, let me say this too. When you join the military, you waive all of your constitutional rights, although some things may still apply, but things are limited as well. And yeah, some people say, I was looking at Nicole's timeline here and going back and forth with Kareem, because you say not really considering that the majority of the military vote Republican. And he said a lot of those soldiers are going to refuse orders and they're going to leave the military. Yeah, a lot of soldiers. I mean, remember initially, Biden was not making it mandatory that you get this in the military, which I found interesting. They did not mandate it. But now, being that he is the commander in chief of the armed forces, if he's saying that you must take this shot, you got to roll up your sleeve and do it.
Well, I say that if you're making unions mad, you're making military mad, you're making the average American mad, you're not going to be, it's not going to end very well. I mean, you're not having the support that you need, because driving wedges between people and making them angry and upset like this, destabilizing their lives like that, that's not giving people an incentive to go out here and see your side. I mean, yes, you want to end the pandemic, but this approach just is not the way to go out here and do it, because you're going to alienate all of those people you're trying to persuade. And again, people don't want $100. They want the assurances from the FDA that they will get their medical issues covered if by these companies, and their health issues paid for if some issues come in the future. Give people those assurances and you will get the trust. And this really, again, flies over the head of nerds like Fauci, and that Surgeon General and the CDC director and Joe Biden. You have to build the trust. If you don't build the trust, you're not going to get the support. And then you're further going to erode the trust and make things worse for yourself. And then once you make things worse for yourself, you're guaranteed to lose the election, and your party may be losing the election for generations to come.
Yeah. Sean predicted that 2022 is going to be the downfall, is going to be the fall of the Democratic Party. I think it's going to be the downfall of it with this. They have not done a good job. Remember, there have been failures also with trying to trying to get Americans back working. Another thing that happened earlier is that Biden said he's not going to extend the moratorium on leases and so forth that Trump had issued in. So a lot of people in a couple of days, when that expires, they're going to be evicted.
And that's going to further erode his approval rating, and it's going to further destroy the trust between the American people. Again, they don't see where they're going because they're so busy trying to get where they want to be. They don't see where they're going, and they don't see that you need people on your side. And what's going to spread more COVID as related to things is large homeless populations, a lot of squalid, unsanitary conditions. They don't really see where they're going. I mean, there's no critical thinking in this Biden White House, it looks like. And it looks like they're just running on feelings and not really thinking critically about the overall situation and trying to solve the problem in a constructive manner. Now, the job market is a complete mess because the wages just aren't the way they're supposed to be. And the working conditions in these work environments are toxic, but that's a private issue, not a government issue. And the whole thing is that this Biden, he ran on the campaign of trying to build back better, but his argument was, I am not Donald Trump. And what America is learning is that I am not Donald Trump is, as I stated before, is not an argument. And when you try to run on that whole campaign and then try to push agenda on a campaign of not being Donald Trump, then you really show how unfocused and how directionless you are, because you don't have an agenda to lay out your plans. I mean, Biden's infrastructure bill is stalled in Congress and the Senate, and his other aspects of his agenda have practically gone nowhere. And I believe one of the reasons why he's with this whole mandate thing is because he knows his whole presidency has fallen completely apart, and he's trying to glue it back together. But the reason why it's not coming together is because he doesn't understand how to build trust with people. They don't know how to form relationships with people.
He shouldn't have been president. Look, it's like what Judge Joe Brown said. He should not have been president at all. He's not running anything in that White House. His staff is.
And they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what
they're doing. No, and they don't want, you don't want Kamala.
She's incompetent and in over her head.
Kamala to be president, because, even her staff have come out and said it's unbearable to work with her.
She's not a leader. None of these people are leaders, and they don't know how to go out here and reassure people and build that trust. I mean, if I were president of the United States, my goal as related to this pandemic, if I've got this thing, I want to go out here and work on trust. I want to form a relationship with we the people and let them know that even if you take this and there is something wrong, we're going to cover you, we're going to protect you, we're going to take care of you. And if you tragically pass away, we are going to make sure that your family is going to be taken care of. Even though this is experimental, we're going to work towards building this trust with you, letting you know that we're going to take care of you.
Don't say experimental.
I mean, that's, if you're going to do this, and you're going to, I would say basically, again, building the trust. Again, I'm going to say, we're going to wait for the FDA approval. I know that people are desperate for it, but even if they want to take it, again, I would say we're going to still look out for you. But the whole thing is that nobody sees where the problem is. And the problem is that nobody's trying to build trust. Nobody's trying to build a relationship with the people. They just are attacking people like you're the bad guy. But people aren't the bad guy here. We the people aren't the bad guy. No, we the people didn't cause this. And to go out here and attack people, that doesn't give them any incentive to see your side. I mean, if you want to persuade people to see your side, don't come at people with $100. Come at them with an assurance that they will be taken care of and they will get their health care taken care of. That's the kind of thing that gains trust. And this is where everybody just isn't getting it. They're thinking that everybody is what I think is the Trump supporter. But again, this is not Trump supporters. You have blacks, you have Hispanics, you have Asians. It's a whole group of people, and they're not really seeing people. All they're seeing is statistics. And that has been the problem of the Biden presidency. That's been the problem of the CDC and Fauci. They only see numbers. They just don't see people.
Yeah. All right. To answer your question, Queen Conscious, no, the Constitution is not suspended. While you may be in a state of emergency, you notice life has been continuing as normal as best as can be. Constitution is not suspended. Otherwise, we wouldn't be going to court, or I wouldn't be going to court now on some cases. So no, that has not happened. So Constitution is still the law of the land. All right. So, and Bill Cosby wouldn't be out either. That's another way to put it. All right. So I want to move on to the next subject, Shawn. This is about two Colorado police officers that were indicted, formally in charge with beating and assaulting a gentleman out in Aurora, Colorado, who had a felony warrant. The video is pretty graphic, guys. I don't know if you all have seen this. This is courtesy of CBS this morning. They were covering this. This is also covered under fair use. Guys can check out the video. I'm going to play it right now, but it is graphic.
The footage was released yesterday, and we want to warn you, it is disturbing. Kyle Vinson was arrested Friday on an outstanding warrant charge. Within minutes, he was left beaten and bloodied, saying he was fighting for his life. Jeff Pegues is following this latest controversy for the Aurora Police Department.
Body camera videos show officers attempting to arrest 3 men with outstanding felony warrants. When 2 flee the scene, Kyle Vinson is left sitting alone. Officer John Hobart is seen pointing a gun at Vinson, ordering him to lie face down and show his hands, which he does.
Hands all the way out. Hands all the way out in front of you. Okay.
The officer hits Vinson with his pistol at least 7 times. 1 cut on Vinson's head required 6 stitches. He later holds him by the neck for almost 40 seconds. Vinson's father says he was shocked by what he saw.
I thought he was going to die because he said, "You're killing me." On your face, dude. Get on your face, dude.
Aurora's police chief, Vanessa Wilson, calls the arrest a despicable act.
We're disgusted. We're angry. This is not police work. This is not the Aurora Police Department. This was criminal.
Since becoming chief in 2020, Wilson has worked to reform the Aurora Police Department, terminating 14 officers for misconduct. The year before she became chief, 23-year-old Elijah McLean died after Aurora police put him in a neck hold and paramedics injected him with ketamine after he was stopped while walking home from a convenience store. Wilson says as soon as she saw this new video, she ordered an internal affairs investigation.
You move, I will shoot you.
Wilson says she supports the quick release of body camera videos, which is now required by Colorado law within 21 days in incidents where there are complaints.
And that's why I'm doing it here today, because you have a right to know what happened.
Officer Hobart faces multiple felony charges, including second-degree assault and attempted first-degree assault. Another officer on the scene, Francine Martinez, faces misdemeanor charges for failing to intervene or report the use of force.
Help! Help! I didn't do anything.
Authorities have yet to say whether Vinson will face charges for an outstanding warrant on a probation violation.
I didn't do anything, dude. I was just fighting for my life, man.
Officer Hobart is on administrative leave without pay. His lawyer would not comment, but says that he will zealously defend his client. Officer Martinez is on leave with pay, which is department policy when charged with a non-felony. We are seeking comment from her or her attorney, but so far, Jerika, we have not heard back.
Wow, Jeff, that video is hard to watch, but once again, video holding officers accountable. Thank you.
All right, that was tough to watch, man. You guys saw that video for yourselves. Main thing I noticed, Shawn, when this happened, first I thought it was a white boy when I looked at it, but when his father came on, obviously he said, that was his son, and he took a look at it. He's like, okay, yeah, this is a black kid, and he's live when you look at the video. He was the one that he actually was sitting there calmly when the other 2 suspects fled and flew off, and they pushed him on the ground. When you see stuff like that, Shawn, this is Aurora, Colorado. Just remember last year around the same time when they took those little black girls out of the van and had them laying on the asphalt, handcuffed. As you also pointed out, the young man who was killed that was walking home, that was shot with methamphetamine.
Year before she became chief, 23-year-old Elijah McLean died.
Yeah, that's Elijah McLean there. They declined to press charges in that case, although I think they may still be looking into it. What did you think of all of this?
Well, I am deeply disturbed to see this black man attacked this way after the murder of George Floyd. Now, after the murder of George Floyd, we were all told that things were going to change as related to police misconduct. And what's going on is we're continuing to see that the same culture of police misconduct continues to go on in this country, and nobody's really serious about getting any sort of effort to change this misconduct because this culture is so ingrained in this country. And that's what I see here as related to the latest attack on this young man, how deeply ingrained this type of culture is as related to Blue, and how Blue has no sense of accountability to the communities they protect and serve. Because clearly in this video, we see excessive force being used. This man was not doing anything to be attacked like this. And this brutal mistreatment of this man is extremely egregious. And I'm just disturbed by the whole video of this man. I'm just disturbed completely by it because it just shows how nobody really is serious about getting any sort of change. And it really shows me what a lot of my viewers have been telling me about the state of Colorado. I mean, the state of Colorado is looking like a white supremacist stronghold because it seems like every other incident I'm hearing about a black person being attacked over there. And there was a recent mass shooting where a Middle Eastern man said he was being bullied and picked on, and that was one of his motivations. So I'm looking at this colored red Colorado state, and I'm seeing a lot of it being a white supremacist stronghold. I mean, that officer who went out here and racially profiled that family.
I'm sorry, Shawn, but Computer Robot says it's a left-leaning state, Colorado.
No, it's looking more and more from what people have been telling me. It's looking like a white supremacist state, and
it's a white supremacy, Republican or Democrat.
Yeah. And when I look at that whole case of that young woman who and her family, and this guy, he goes from being reprimanded in the Aurora Police Department, and then he's running for sheriff. That shows me that there's a disturbing culture in this state that people don't want to acknowledge. And that culture really shows how deep white supremacy goes in the state of Colorado. And this state is one that really, we need to take a critical examination of it as Black people and start working towards not going to a place where we're not welcome.
Yeah. I can't encourage violence, being that I'm a lawyer. I certainly don't encourage people to pick up arms and go out killing people or anything like that, or breaking some kneecaps as much as I want to. Having said all of that, I can say how I feel and what I would hypothetically I would do if that were my son or if those were my girls. Being fired and going to jail would be the least of their worries. This officer not only pistol whipped this young man, and you saw not only the cut, he was bleeding profusely from his wounds, but I also saw that he had bumps. You know, you saw the hematomas on his forehead.
Yeah.
I saw it all on the side of his head. He's lucky that this kid didn't die, and then he choked him.
All excessive.
All excessive. The other officer who got charged, Martinez, she did not intervene. That's why she was arrested. You have to, as an officer, if you see a use of force, you are required by law to report that. Otherwise, you could be charged with, failure to do your duties, and that's what she was charged with. They need to just start. Hypothetically speaking, I got to be careful. Hypothetically speaking, I would love to just in my head, if this had happened to me, I always think of that scene in Casino when Blue was killed and Joe Pesci and his gang went to the cop's house. Hypothetically, not encouraging it, but you remember that scene.
I have never watched Casino, so I don't know.
All right. Well, I won't say no more. Hypothetically, I mean, I think about it in my head. So I'm not encouraging it. I'm careful with my words. But I saw another video. Yeah, well, Casino. Go back and look at that episode, that scene. It's near the end of the movie when Blue gets killed. They thought his hero sandwich looked like a gun. Yeah, Sean doesn't probably remembers. He'd have to see it again. But just go look at that film. But yeah, my thinking is this is and they got this pending felony charge against him for a probation. Basically, he got a warrant because he missed a court date, felony court date. So I'm hoping that they'll just go ahead and drop it after this because he has grounds for a very serious lawsuit.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he will get the bag.
You get a big bag.
Yeah, he's going to get a big bag. So all of the lawyers that are chomping right now in Colorado, Aurora, Colorado, they want to be a part of that case. So, yeah, the pressing of the gun to the young man's head was overly excessive. Hell, the pistol whipping was overly excessive. Everything about it was overly excessive. Yeah, Derek, when he had a hero sandwich. And they thought it was a gun, and the cops, and so they wouldn't get in trouble, they planted a gun next to Blue. And Joe Pesci and his gang were not happy about it. So I'll leave it at that. Yeah. Let's see, I think I had some more. So Sean, I see you got a video debuting already about this, but I did want to talk about it. Dealing with Lil Nas X, because I've talked about it here with Nicole. I don't know if you saw my stream on Tuesday. I had brought Nicole on our show because she was trending for all the right reasons, I will say, because if Lil Nas X is tweeting you, you touched the nerve. And she made it in Pink News. And, Lil Nas X had that video that dropped last week. Back on Friday. And a lot of people have commented, mostly the people that are praising it are those in mainstream media. But if you come to new black media, which is what matters, they are not with it. A lot of people are not feeling it. And let's be real, his music is not that great either. I've never seen or gotten anything a great deal like a great deal of people who listen to him. Like Brother Dwan B said, nobody is buying Lil Nas X stuff. Nobody's buying his music videos. Nobody's buying his music. Nobody's watching his music videos. And he does stuff for shock value. Industry Baby was the song. And there was a lot of racial connotation even within the video. I don't know if you saw it, but the white man, Jack Harlow, who was at the BET Awards last month, in the video, he's all bumping and grinding with a female officer where you have Lil Nas X here with the McNuggets out ready for the whole extra dipping sauce of sweet and sour with all these men there. So what do you think of I already know what your opinion is going to be, but I want you to share it with everybody.
Well, my opinion is that this clearly shows us that there is a Hollywood agenda as related to demonizing the image of the black man, emasculating the image of the black man, effeminizing the image of the black man, and homosexualizing the image of the black man. This whole video, what Industry Baby is, just shows us that the entertainment industry, is not for us. It is all about making us into some sort of sexual deviant, and it's all about promoting the idea that your black man is some sort of effeminate sexual individual and has no sort of humanity whatsoever. So with Industry Baby, I really see the real villain here is the entertainment industry, and they're using this Lil Nas X as a way to push a misandristic anti-black man agenda. and they want to go out here and show the black man being this black brute by showing him as a prisoner. Then they want to show him as some sort of sexual deviant. Then they also want to go out here and promote prison culture. So this whole video is about showing the black man at the bottom of the world, showing him that all he thinks about is sex, and basically trying to socially engineer the idea in black boys' minds that the only thing they can be is an effeminate black man who has homosexual tendencies. But they won't do this with white performers like the late George Michael or performers like Freddie Gray or even Liberace. But they push this agenda, and your Little Nas X, or as I call him, Little Satan X, is all about promoting a demonic and satanic anti-black man agenda and pushing it to socially engineer young black boys away from the true definition of manhood and prevent them from understanding what it means to be a man. So your Little Nas X is nothing more than an agent of white supremacy. His stuff doesn't really sell because people can see the agenda behind it. They can see the whole plan by white supremacists to push an agenda at the expense of the black man. And they see how you're just trying to demonize the black man and make the black man into this disturbing image that only a white supremacist would feel entertained by watching.
Yeah. I mean, he's a joke. He's a joke. But he's dangerous.
He's dangerous because he's Madison Avenue Hollywood made him this image. And the whole thing is, we in New Black Media, we have to push back against this image, and we have to let people know what this image is all about. That's one of the great things about New Black Media is that we can come out here and speak against these type of images. Because when I was a kid, there was stuff like The Color Purple and movies like Brewster Place, which had extremely misandristic and anti-black man images in them. And many people didn't know that this type of media was just all about demonizing the black man. But with New Black Media, we get that pushback, and we get people understanding that this media is designed to get you to think a certain way. And with this Little Nas X, what they're trying to do is indoctrinate these young boys into thinking a certain way about themselves. And that's why you have to, as I say in the video that's coming up, give your kids good black media like the John Haynes series or the ISIS series or any of the books on the SJS Direct Imprint or other publishers like Concrete Comics. There's a lot of good media out there, and you have to feed your mind good media so that you don't get poisoned and corrupted by this disturbing media made by these white supremacists that promote anti-black racism and go out here and try to get you to see yourself as less than a person.
Right. Yeah. No doubt about that. Lil Nas X, and let me say this, when he debuted, I remember when he had, was it Country Road was his debut song. And remember, the country music, I guess you could say players, people in country music, like the Country Music Awards, the CMAs, they did not want Lil Nas X's song to be considered part of country music. They were vehemently against him. And a lot of people pushed back at it because they felt it was racist, just like they came at Beyonce when she had a country music and Western song, and they didn't want to acknowledge it. And it was black people who supported him. We didn't like what happened, but you see it now, and essentially he was the Trojan horse, or I dare say the unicorn that was brought in to usher in this political agenda that we see. And the funny thing about, the interesting thing about it, if you saw the prelude to it, to that video, the most disgusting thing was he was trying to make it look like he got punished for being gay, which is why he got sent to jail. If anything, you come out and you're gay, you're praised. Now, you're worshiped, you're adored. You have people who will defend you to the T. Even straight people will be quiet and not say anything because they know if they speak out against it, they'll lose their jobs. They could take your job from you. I mean, look what happened when Michael Sam was drafted. The Miami Dolphins safety made a comment because in the video showing the film footage showing Sam when he was drafted by the St. Louis Rams, they showed him kissing his boyfriend and shoving cake in their mouths. And he commented and said, "Oh, this is disgusting. I can't believe they're showing this on television." The Miami Dolphins ordered him to go into sensitivity training. He had
Yeah.
mandatory sensitivity training. He was going to lose his job in his position if he didn't support that.
Yeah, that's the sad part. It's like if you don't support these agendas, then they want to go out here and punish you. And the thing is, these people, they sit there and they talk about how they have rights, but they don't want to respect the rights of others. And that's the whole thing that people have issues with them, is that they want everything to be monolithic and one-sided, but they don't want to see where the other person is coming from. I mean, this Lil Nas X, again, he's been sent to be an agent, and he uses that his sexual orientation as a way to be a buffer and be able to go out here and do things to the black community. But then he hides behind it like a shield to avoid being accountable. And that's a point a YouTuber called Mad Black 80 made a while ago. And I can agree with that point, because that's what they're using him for, to attack the black community. And then he runs behind the alphabet community as a shield after he attacks the black community. And that's why I see him as an agent of white supremacy, because only an agent of white supremacy goes out here to attack the black community and push agendas against the black community, and then go and hide behind a shield and then say that they're being victimized, but they're actually the perpetrators doing harm to people in the black community.
Yeah. Yeah. What did you think? I don't know if you saw this, but about the baby's comments when he was at a concert. He made a remark about people with HIV, and now has been running forward that, you know, they were trying to make it look like he was speaking out against LGBTQ people. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't hear about that, but it's them again using the alphabet community to attack black people, and that's what they're trying to do now. What the white supremacists are trying to do is they're trying to use minorities like Asians and members of the alphabet community to attack the black community. And then if black people go out here and try to rebut their arguments, they call it hate speech and say that you are a racist. So what they're trying to do is use these other minorities, and then when black people go out here and try to challenge what they're presenting, these racist stereotypes, and these racist attacks on black people, what they do is use their minority status as victim status so that they can avoid having to deal with any sort of blowback from the black community. It's a passive aggressive tactic. Passively, I use another minority to attack you, but then aggressively, I go out here and say you're participating in hate speech and you are against us. And because you are participating in hate speech, I then have a justification to punish you. But then the great irony is that this individual is the actual racist and white supremacist. And these people are acting as agents of white supremacy and pushing the narratives of the white supremacists.
Yeah, well, his comments and what he said was that he was doing he was performing at Rolling Loud's concert, and he was closing, and he said if you didn't show up today with HIV/AIDS or any of them deadly sexually transmitted diseases that'll make you die in 2 or 3 weeks, then put your cell phone lighters up. Ladies, if your pussy smell like water, put your cell phone lighters up. Fellas, if you ain't sucking dick in the parking lot, put your cell phone lighter up. And people from Madonna to Elton John have come out condemning him. And my thing is, you know, to his Elton John and Madonna, you notice have been, and you read this Billboard article, these people have been eerily silent when it comes to Ed Buck being convicted of murder. Well, not of murder, excuse me. He was convicted of giving an overdose to 2 black men, basically luring them in and using them for his own deeds. And you have heard very little in national media talking about this. And he was a prominent California Democratic donor, and he was convicted on all 9 felony counts. They've been silent about this.
Yeah.
What is Elton John? And let's be real, Elton John, Madonna, black people were the ones that supported them. Elton John in particular, because Elton John, he started out as an impersonator of Little Richard, and following hanging out with these black players, these black musicians back in the 60s. Madonna, I mean, and I remember when Elton John, I don't remember it because I wasn't there, but Elton John was on Soul Train. He was one of the first artists that were on Soul Train. Madonna was on, I don't know about her being on Soul Train, but I remember she did a lot of things. She found music and so forth, which wasn't all that great, but it was based in pop sounding. A lot of people black brothers and sisters supported her back in the 80s. And they always had something slick. Elton recently had something slick to say about Michael that I didn't like. But he's coming out against the baby for his comments. And the baby has had some support too, because T.I. came out. You know that? T.I. has came out and supported him.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, T.I., of course, they have hit T.I. with stuff. Him and his wife with some allegations. And, what I'm noticing, Shawn, I don't know about you, but there's been a lot of pushback with this. But look, T.I. says here, this is a complex article. I don't know if I want to share complex because since they put that copyright strike on me. But he said the LGBTQ community is bullying rappers as he continues defending the baby.
Yeah.
And you could tell from the way this article runs that the person who probably wrote it was LGBTQ or LGBTQ friendly, gay friendly. He says T.I. is continuing to insert himself into the narrative of the baby's homophobic remarks and the ensuing criticism. There is a running conspiracy that the LGBTQ community is somehow bullying grown adults by choosing not to support artists and entertainers who don't respect people's sexuality and gender. And T.I. defended him. He said, "Why do words cause such a visceral reaction that will lead to someone trying to attack, villainize, demonize, crucify, condemn, and the like? That shit is like, now you're bullying." He continued. "We all stood up on behalf of gays and lesbians, and people in the gay community, because we thought this was bullshit for y'all to have to be bullied. But I don't think any of us did that to feel like you would now have the authority to come and bully us." That's what T.I. had to say in part. Let me stop sharing because I don't want to share complex stuff anymore. But yeah, T.I. should be quiet himself. But what did you think of what he had to say?
Well, I think that he has a good, valid point about the alphabet community. And what I'm seeing with the alphabet community is that they seem to be like a group of bullies. They go around looking to attack people, and instead of them looking to listen to people, they just go out here and attack people and make them, once they throw the rock, they hide their hand and then make themselves out to be a victim. And then they use that victim position to try to punish people who all are just expressing a difference of opinion. So when I look at this alphabet community, they are really out here doing a lot of damage to anybody who critiques people. I mean, they act like they're above the law, they're above accountability, and they're above any sort of being called out. And what happens is they just use this protected class status to be this victim, similar to what we see as related to the anti-Asian law these days. And they use this as a bludgeon to go after black people, and like your T.I. And that's what they do is they try to play this victim, and you're not a victim. I mean, if he has a legitimate critique of you, you shouldn't be out here attacking everybody, because all that's going to do is alienate people and really start to see you as suspect.
Yeah, most definitely. So let's see what you all have to say in the chat. We won't be in here much longer. They act like white supremacists. Oh, they are white supremacists. Rosalind, what's up, Rosalind? We got Baby Doll, him, dark skin brother. Talking. Yeah. What have Elton John and Madonna said or done in support of Black society? I'd say screwing them, especially Madonna. You know, she cost Big Daddy Kane his career when he appeared on that erotica photo album she did. Remember that?
Yeah.
Never to say he was butt ass naked. Him, Madonna, and some other woman. I can't think of the name.
Yeah, messed up his career doing that in that sex book.
Yeah, and she's right. And Madonna, I mean, she's 60-something years old dating a 20-something year old. She's not right. That's not stealing that's not robbing the cradle. She pulled out the womb.
Yep.
Damn. The boy's dad, because she's dating this young black dude. She's dating. He's okay with it. His dad's okay with it. Of course, she got money.
Yeah, he's thinking about getting a payday.
I mean, he can't get. She's elderly now, but I mean, they got other ways. But I mean, it's their business. She can't get, and I don't know if she can still get pregnant or anything like that. But
no, she's menopausal, so that train is
in the 60s.
That train has left the station.
Yeah.
She's in bus downtown.
Remember that woman, past their 40s and stuff, it gets more difficult for them to do that when menopause kicks in. Yeah. But I mean, they have other ways too that people do stuff if they nowadays surrogate mothers and stuff like that. But he's 27 years old.
Yeah. Poor kid doesn't even know what he's getting into. Got mommy issues.
You want to see a picture of him?
I'll take a look.
Well, remember that actress Adrienne Barbeau? She was in Maude and a lot of the John Carpenter movies. That was her husband.
Yeah.
She had kids in her late 50s, but yeah.
Well,
damn.
She's just using him to satisfy a black male sexual fetish.
She misses Tupac.
Yeah. Because what women like Madonna do is they use black men for their sexual fetish. They use them to have their experience with a black man, and then after that, they just get rid of him. Poor guy doesn't know what he's into.
Yeah. Ooh, she ripped him out the womb. He's enjoying his life. I mean, he's doesn't have to pay for hotel spots. He doesn't have to pay for dinner.
Nope. He's getting taken care of like a son.
Yeah. It's a setup for disaster, you say, huh?
Yep. Because all she's using him for is just to see if the black man is larger than the white man and to get her sexual fetish off. And then
sure, she's been with black men before.
Yeah, but this is a fetish. It's just something that they do. White women go out here and they look for black men to get with, then once they get with them, then they don't want to. They go on about their business.
Yeah. Got a point there. We're hot and heavy. We've been here for it's 10 o'clock already. Oh yeah, just about. So we're gonna wrap this thing up. Probably next. Well, I'll see what we'll do next week. But in the meantime, guys, I'd like for you all to please donate to the Cash App. We're live. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. We got people in here. We got we've had at least 40 people come into the room, but I know we're gonna have more. Thank you all again to my 1,000 subscribers, 1,000 plus. Without you, it wouldn't be possible. It's been hard fought battle. We're still climbing. We're still trying to make it there. I think eventually we may get 5,000 pretty soon. So who knows? Some updates that'll come to the channel as well. I wish to do all of that. The lights can't get on you anyway, bro, if you got the naps. I don't think they can survive in the naps. Let's see what else. Oh, so you guys pick up Shawn's latest. Please subscribe to Shawn's channel if you haven't. I'm sure a lot of you have. But buy his latest books like Revenge of the Cyber Goddess and John Haynes Taking Care of Business, which are available on Amazon.com. Amazon.com. Also, you guys, you can check out my website for my Creole seasoning blends. We're trying to get that in markets real soon. Certainly before the end of the year, I think we might have something, locally, because it just starts off small when you're just building your business. But that's the website. If anybody wants to check it out, you can. Nawny'sCreoleBlends.com, Nawny'sCreoleBlends.com. Shawn, I gotta send you some seasoning. So,
all right.
Yeah. Here, you take care, Queen Conscious and Baby Doll. You guys, hope you guys are doing well. Also, please go to the Patreon. That's where you can hear and see probably more videos like this, or even better, that are not censored, that are not taken down. So that way, we will be able to communicate like a family instead of hiding stuff like in high school. And again, I ask you guys to please contribute to the Cash App, to the PayPal, as well as Zelle if you can. If you would like to advertise on this channel, please send me an email, gavin.grich1@gmail.com, gavin.grich1@gmail.com. Shawn, yes, computer robots, I remember, 70-year-old pregnancy. That did happen. I believe it was out in India, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Damn, that breastfeeding milk will be sour.
All right.
Yeah, her 79-year-old husband. But even you read in the Bible, Sarah and Abraham were old. And they had Isaac. Of course, men can still procreate even in their 80s. Tony, the actor Tony Randall, who's out in New York, he played Felix in The Odd Couple. He had his kids in his late 70s, his first children, with his second wife. And, he didn't live that long, unfortunately, to see them grow up. But it had happened. So they went under IVF treatment in this story. But yeah. Let's say 72. I mean, she could be their great grandmother. A grandmother. That's her there. New technology, Ivy, that we have today. Your uncle was sowing his royal oats. It is settled. That's the best scene in Coming to America. Outside the barbershop scene, always the most quoted part. Oh, so you want to sow your royal oats? I didn't know what that meant when I was a kid. It is settled. And apparently he did, although it wasn't by choice. That's Shawn?
Yeah.
I said he soiled his royal oats, but it wasn't by choice in the sequel, apparently.
Yeah, that was emasculating poor Prince Akeem. That sequel, I still want a refund of my money as related to that disaster of a movie. Just, it really tarnished the original.
Yeah. Well, right about that. I had mixed feelings about the sequel. Personally, I thought it was too little too late, although you have nostalgic feelings over it to see Eddie Murphy back with Arsenio Hall and things of that nature, but it wasn't what it was. I think they could have made it probably, at least if they were going to do a sequel, it should have been at least 3 or 5 years afterwards. That way the characters were still young and so forth, and it would have been more organized when Akeem was getting ready to take the throne. Maybe they could have made something like that. Here they made it, and I think they've always been pushing this pro-feminist agenda, and you saw that in the film. And it wasn't as funny. There was a lot of stuff that was missing. That was different from the original Coming to America. Remember, the original Coming to America was rated R, so this one was PG-13. So they sanitized a lot of stuff. But when Eddie Murphy was his best, when he had R-rated movies like 48 Hours, Trading Places, the original Coming to America. Remember,
he lost something when he started doing these PG and PG-13 movies. We call him Disney Eddie Murphy in the house.
Yeah. Y'all call him Disney Eddie Murphy?
Yeah, we say he got the Disney stamp on the back of his neck after Nutty Professor. And he just became a pale shadow of himself because he started doing these family type comedies and these PG comedies, and he lost his edge.
Yeah. Well, I think he's just mellowed out now because he's older and he's got his money. I find that most comedians, especially those that are famous and popular, when they get to a certain level, they don't have to do certain things anymore that they did when they were younger. And he's made his money. And even today, you could get canceled immediately. I mean, they were coming at him for jokes he made in Raw and Delirious, as far back as Delirious. The gay jokes he made, they would try to get him to be condemned by some of his contemporaries. The gay guy, comedian Titus Burgess, he was on Andy Cohen's show and they wanted him to say something about it. He was like, no, I'm not going to condemn Eddie Murphy for that because I enjoyed working with him on the set of Dolomite Is My Name.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, I don't have much more further, Shawn, to think of, man. But you want to say anything, drop something to anybody?
I mean, I think we've said everything. I mean, if you want to pick up my books on the 2021 catalog, ISIS: Revenge of the Cyber Goddess, and Shawn Hayes Taking Care of Business, or one of my men's issues book like The Man Crisis, you can head over to Amazon.com and pick those books up in paperback and Kindle format. And if you want to connect with me, you can go to my Shawn James YouTube channel, and check out my content there. I mean, that's all I really have to say as related to things. And I'm about finished with saying things for tonight.
Yeah, same here. Well, we'll pick up next week, Sean. Same GAF time, same GAF channel. In the meantime, ladies and gentlemen, you all be safe, be blessed. I'll be back Sunday for another show. We'll discuss with the, I don't know what we'll be discussing. But this has been another edition of Gavin Richard Presents. Of course, please check out the single, Gotta Get On Up on iTunes, Spotify, and Apple. Sean, thank you for tuning in again and giving your commentary.
All right, thank you for having me on the show.
All right, guys, and as always, I'll holla. Be safe, be blessed. Now, let's get on up. Why does it do this?
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, cause on the dance floor is where we'll be. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on. Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get all out and move your body. Cause when the beat is really moving, start to feel your body moving. Gotta get all out and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on. Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop, or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get all out and move your body. Cause when the beat is really moving, start to feel your body moving. Gotta get all out and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on. Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you're breathing, you're achieving. So if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll feel the groove. Get on the floor. Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really moving, start to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on. Yeah, gotta get on. Come on, baby, gotta get on. Baby. There's a broken on the floor.